Ready.
I think that maybe we are live, maybe we are not. I think we are. Welcome everybody from the internet world and from all the other places of the world. My name is Laura. I'm really happy to be here for another exciting webinar. And I'm here with Nathan, of course. Nathan, say hello.
Hello. That's everything I'm allowed to say.
Okay, you can say more. You can say, how have you been since the webinar?
Great. It's been a busy week. I mean, hopefully many people are getting used, even if they are in their countries, if they are under lockdown, they're getting used to meetings and so on. So great, lots of contacts and in general, a very productive week.
Awesome. And I feel like if we have a lot of things to do, then we can be really efficient. And this is why we have a challenge for today's webinar, which is what?
I have no idea what it is. It's 10 ethical principles of powerful marketers.
Yes, and the challenge is that we're trying to keep it within 30 minutes. So we'll see how it goes, because we don't want to, I wouldn't say waste anyone's time, but just to be short and sweet and get our ideas across, and so people can go on and enjoy the Friday and weekend. So that's the plan. We'll see how it goes.
Surely it's going to work.
Yeah, I hope so.
Maximum value in a small format.
Yeah, so we have to speak really fast.
Hopefully you will still be able to understand us. And I would say without further ado, let's begin our webinar. Welcome everybody, and happy Powerful Marketer Talks Friday. As you know, my name is Nathan Manzaneke, and I am one of your co-hosts. I am a business coach, an entrepreneur, and we're here to discuss inspiring ideas, to share powerful thoughts and insights, and to bring just a little bit of positivity into your life. Hopefully, we feel very privileged to bring you yet another live webinar from the Powerful Marketer Talk series. And believe it or not, it's already been the 8th webinar that we've done. And it's incredible. 2 months really go fast.
Time really flies.
It really does. We discussed many powerful topics over the course of these couple of months. We've been talking about starting from mindset and fundamentals, how that can help our business and our marketing, and going all the way covering aspects like leadership, communication, networking, and all these powerful topics that marketers need to master to be a little bit more successful and to feel a little bit more in charge of their life. And today we have yet another powerful webinar planned for you on the topic of ethics and what are those 10 principles that every marketer should always adhere to. So thank you very much for choosing to spend some quality time with us on this Friday, or whatever day it is when you're watching this, if you're not watching it in live. We have a nice surprise to you today as well. As we mentioned in our opening words, this webinar is not going to be an hour, it's going to be half the time. We want to keep it sweet and short, approximately 30 minutes, because we could spend hours and hours discussing each of these principles, but the aim here is for you to get the big picture and to get going. And I actually would suggest, as we talk about these 10 principles, think about each one of them, and if you have any ideas, please post them. We want to listen to those great ideas and comments both in our Facebook community and also on our YouTube channel. And without further ado, I'll now give word to my co-host, Laura Kugelmelk.
Thank you so much, Nathan. I will take more than one word. I will take multiple words. I also want to welcome everybody. My name is Laura Kugelmelk, and I am the other co-host and really happy to be here. I am a marketer and a business owner from Estonia, currently living in Spain. And I am also a part of the wonderful Powerful Marketers team. And as you mentioned, Nathan, it is truly wild that we've been going live for 8 Fridays in a row. But I must admit that it has become a part of my lifestyle already. I look forward to these Fridays, and I wake up each Friday very excited to be here with both you, Nathan, and also with our wonderful listeners. So my sincerest thank you to each and every one of you watching us now live or later on as a recording. We truly appreciate it that you take the time out of your busy day to come and join us. And in return, we hope to give you value and inspiration on different topics that we believe are so crucial for all the marketers out there. And like Nathan said, if you enjoy our shows, please let us know in the comments and by subscribing to our YouTube channel. And of course, if there's something that we could improve on, please also help us out and let us know. We truly want to hear from you, and we want this show to grow into a powerful thing that you look forward to each and every Friday. And I think with that said, we can now officially start with the show, Nathan. Nathan, I think Nathan has left the chat, but it's okay. We can move on with our lives. Yep, Nathan is trying to enter the chat. Well, I'm really happy we have had this mishap because it shows that technology is always surprising and you never know when Nathan leaves the chat. So Nathan, welcome back.
Thank you very much. It's good to be back. I was kind of worried in there for a second.
Yeah, I was like wondering, why are you not saying anything? I thought that, okay, let's get going, Nathan. And then there was silence, but it's fine. It's fine. I'm very glad that I understood that you have left the chat. But I finished with, let's get started, Nathan. So welcome back and let's get on with the webinar.
Let's do it. As you know, we're talking about the 10 ethical principles of powerful marketers. And I would like to start by reminding everyone that we are all as human beings part of social systems, more or less complex. Just think about your family or think about your circle of friends. And also by being a consumer in the economy, we are part of a market, of a citizenship system in your country, and in different aspects, many other circles. So you as a marketer, you are part of a whole system of business and marketing. And this system sometimes is way bigger than what we are used to. And sometimes we forget that that entails much more than an immediate circle. It goes deeper than what meets the eye, and it includes many aspects of your skills in your job and in your personal life. And these ethical principles we're going to discuss apply to every layer or every level of that social system. So Laura, would you do the honor of explaining the social model of marketing, which is a concept that we actually introduced in the Powerful Marketers program?
Of course, I'm happy to. The social model of marketing, as we call it in the Powerful Marketer program, illustrates the relationships between the different levels and influences in marketing, and taking into account those big general outside factors that affect you and your clients, but also those inner factors that are particular to each individual. And it is important to realize that the reality we live in is a huge, overwhelming complex with several layers or levels, and it's simply impossible to only excel in one of those levels and then remain successful forever, because things change all the time and new factors come into play. So understanding all of those different layers, at least on a basic level, is what I believe essential for long-term success. And even more important is to understand how to manage all those levels as a professional, because we are always evolving, learning, adapting, growing, and so on. And to truly embrace this lifestyle of perpetual growth, you need to master the 5 key areas that we have actually also discussed before in our webinars. And those 5 key areas are, you might have heard them, mindset, subconscious mind, professionalism, communication literacy, and leadership.
And I agree. And the part of being a very solid and grounded and powerful marketer is to have a balanced knowledge of everything that impacts your business. Things that can impact your marketing, even things from the outside world that have an impact in how you do business and yourself as a human being. And the emphasis here is on the word balance, because as a powerful marketer, you know that the only constant is change. The only certainty is uncertainty in your life. And that affects every aspect of our lives at times, and every aspect of work. So we need to be aware for that uncertainty. We need to be able to accept and to adapt to that change. And this is the invitation that we actually share through the Powerful Marketers program. Never assume that just because you know a lot about a particular area in your life, the conditions will remain always the same.
Yeah, because they don't. Some people may leave the live webinar, for example, unexpectedly. You never know what happens, and you need to be able to adapt very fast. And I truly believe that empowering yourself as a whole-rounded person will help you to see the challenges in life as opportunities of growth. And I want to share with you a social model of marketing, and I will make Nathan co-host so that he can share the screen. Here you go. So the social model of marketing, as you can see on the screen, perfect. There are different levels that exist in this world of marketing, and they are all connected. And you can see it starts with this small bubble, the core level. And this is your product or service that you represent as a marketer. Moving on, we have the micro level. This expands to include your employees, your colleagues, your teammates, and also from outside the company, your clients and partners. Next circle, the bigger one, is the meso level. This is the organizational level, consisting of company culture, your target audiences, the company's expectations and relationships towards employees, clients, and partners. So this level includes the organizational culture with its different opinions, values, biases, and so on. Moving even further up or out is the ecosystem, which is the societal level. So we are expanding outside of the organization now. This is about your country or state's general level of industry, different social systems such as clubs, communities, and associations that are existing there, level of mass media, different networks, and also the general state and legalities concerning marketing and sales and so on. And even further outside, we have the macro level, and this is the biggest level. And this concerns the general culture, atmosphere, and attitude of the people, as well as their historical background, general political ideology, the current political order, and so on. So you can see how by going from small to big, there are so many influential factors that make our job as marketers challenging yet exciting.
Awesome job. Thank you very much for bringing that up nicely, Laura. I can imagine that there are some people that might be listening to this and looking at this phenomenal social model of marketing and thinking right now, how is this relevant? How does this connect actually with the ethical principle of marketers? And the way I see it, you may have a natural knowledge, or maybe you have a natural skill on one of these levels that we have discussed, or several of those, but you should never ignore the rest. And that sometimes happens when we feel comfortable with one of these levels. The tendency, or the human tendency, is to look for comfort, to ignore, oh, I don't care that much about politics actually. But the thing is, the field of ethics concerns matters of all those things that we discussed, values, and also it applies on every single level in this social model. And this is why we're sharing the ones with you today that are crucial for marketers, because we could analyze this for years and years, but this really has an impact on the social model on every level of marketing.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. And when you think about it, about ethics, then it's all about resolving the questions of human morality by defining concepts such as good and evil, right and wrong, virtue and vice, justice and crime, and so on. And of course, these concepts take years to develop because they exist in this ever-changing environment. But the good news is that ethics can be taught and ethics can be learned. And when we look at the actual definition of ethics, then it's simply defined as a set of knowledge in terms of moral principles. So it is the moral values that guide an individual's behavior or the way they do some activities.
Yep. So let's see together what are those 10 main ethical principles that every marketer should really follow. So let's begin.
Let's do it. And I want to first of all emphasize that your personal success is not a joke. It is not something that should be taken lightly or be left to chance. Success fills your private and professional life with joy and happiness if you stay motivated and remain accountable for it. And as you gain experience in your profession and in your life, over time, you will come to understand and know what it is that you should do, at least most of the time. But the hard thing is to actually get yourself to do it. And that is why we need to be so mindful about the default settings we have. So that includes the way we speak to ourselves, the way we speak to others, what routines support us every day, and so on. Because when we're not mindful about that, when we are not consciously choosing to do better, then sooner rather than later, your monkey mind takes over, and most likely it will cause utter chaos in your life.
I totally agree, and I love that very vivid image of the monkey mind. It illustrates this point really well. Being aware of ourselves and being mindful about our growth and our development is a natural step. It's the first step to achieving success and happiness. You're not just another professional marketer, and by growing your skills over time, you're raising consistently that standard to grow into the powerful marketer that you want to be in your own merit. And part of living up to those standards is to accept these 10 ethical principles of powerful marketers. So, Laura, I'll let you explain these principles, but make sure that you use your powerful marketer voice in there.
Okay, now the pressure is on, but yes, I will try my best. So the first principle is, I respect and adhere to the marketing laws and regulations of my country. And you may think that it's very obvious that you have to follow the law, but in reality, not all marketers know and understand the legislation that either concerns their industry or that concerns marketing in general. And as a marketer, as a powerful marketer, it is in your power to get acquainted with those aspects that influence your job so that you can be prepared. Because if you don't prepare to succeed, you actually prepare to fail.
Oh, what a great sentence. I like that one. And this is why the Powerful Marketer program, one of the topics we focus is legislation, because I agree. Most people, it's not that they try on purpose to violate laws or to ignore those laws. It's just they're simply unaware. But when it comes to legislation, it doesn't matter how good your intention is. What really matters is that law applies nonetheless. So it's not an excuse to ignore the legislation, to not comply with it. So let's move on. What's the next principle that you would like to share, Laura?
Yeah, the next principle goes like this. I respect myself, and I'm constantly prioritizing my own development and well-being first. I am well aware that I am the most important person in my life, and I prioritize MIP or MIP meetings ahead of everything else. And I think this principle is super powerful because you have to prioritize yourself first. And by the way, if you're wondering what is that MIP, what does it stand for, then it represents the most important person, which is, by the way, you are the most important person of your life. You're the hero of your own story. So you truly need to take the best care of yourself.
I love this concept. I believe is one of the most important things that you can do for yourself. And at the same time, some people may be listening and saying, hang on a minute. So you're saying I am the frigging center of the universe. Is that what you're saying? And I should ignore other people. And that's not what this is about at all. It's not about being selfish. Mm-hmm. It's about not feeling guilty when it comes to set aside time for yourself, for your own development, for your own well-being or your own happiness. Because otherwise, how are you supposed to keep on going, to take care not just of yourself, but your family, your friends, to keep being an excellent professional, and to be that wonderful friend or that wonderful person that you want to be? You cannot do any of these things if you are feeling too exhausted, if you're feeling too unhappy with your own life. So this idea that you share, the MIP meetings that we also cover at Powerful Marketers program, that has to be in our calendar. And it's not a one-off. It's something that has to be frequently scheduled in there. And also, not just because it's great to think deeply about your priorities and to speak to yourself in a way, but also because you're supposed to take actions that are going to support that idea of prioritizing yourself. No action, that means it's just words. It's not going to work.
So true. And I think that's why these little rituals or routines are so important in our daily calendar and the daily lives. But I think we can go on and look at the third principle. So the third principle goes like this. I respect the integrity of the individual, and I display an open-minded, empathetic, and respectful attitude towards people of all sorts, regardless of their background, including origin, health, education, age, gender, sexual orientation, nationality, race, religion, political observation, job, income level, position in society, and personality type. Whew, that was a mouthful.
That's a lot. It's a good one. And I think that it is again something that we all are supposed to know, don't we? I'm sure
Mhm.
we know this. The trouble with this is that we don't always act on it. And this is where the trick is. Unless we take action, it's not going to work for us. And often we do it without knowing the full story. We might prejudge some of the people just because they're different. They are not exactly the same way we are. Maybe because we don't understand what the story behind. We don't understand why they do what they do, what is causing those different customs and habits. So instead of assuming the worst or expecting the worst, just keep an open mind and just start a meaningful conversation with that person. It doesn't matter how different they are from you. And most likely, those meaningful conversations are going to help us appreciate that they are normal human beings,
Mhm.
exactly like you and me. They have their own dreams, their own goals, hopes, strengths, weaknesses, and understanding them to a deeper level is really going to create a common ground.
Absolutely. And I think that at our core, we are all human beings with the same needs. So instead of looking for things that separate us, look for things that unite us. So let's take a look at the next principle. And it goes like this. Ooh, it's a long one. So I am constantly following the fundamental principles of marketing by first, refusing to play the blaming game, avoiding looking for who is at fault, but rather trying to understand the context and purpose and to focus on solutions. And second, taking responsibility for more than just advertising, ensuring good communication and preventing my company and its customers from being harmed by my actions or lack thereof. What do you think about that, Nathan?
I agree 100%. I think you have to take responsibility for your choices and your activities, and is the only way for self-development. And in most scenarios, we don't have somebody pointing a gun to our head, rather. Nobody's forcing you to do stuff, but usually people can have a powerful influence in us, and they can help us act in one way or the other way. But at the end of the day, it is down to us to choose whether we do something or we don't. And sometimes things work out. Sometimes we don't get the results that we expect. Let's be honest.
Hmm.
And if we have a tendency to blame others, or maybe to be overly critical, even with yourself, even to blame yourself, that is not going to help. That is not going to rectify the situation. What is done is done. And instead of spreading that negativity either internally or to the outside world, take the lessons with you. Just take the learning and be ready to move on. Don't hold to those feelings of negativity, and then just be better, do better next time. And this principle applies to everything we do, both professional choices and also personal ones.
Yeah, that's excellently put. And I think that blaming somebody or something is a way for us to kind of protect ourselves because it leaves an impression to ourselves that there was nothing else that we could have done to make this situation a success. And it's so easy to give that responsibility away. But of course, it is a false sense of security. And most likely one day it will crumble as you will run out of excuses. But yeah, this leads us to the fifth ethical principle. I speak up clearly to everyone and always work on my communication skills. When speaking out in different contexts, I clarify whether what I'm saying is a personal opinion or the standpoint of my institution or organization.
Oh, I love this one. I'm convinced that the power of communication is often underappreciated sometimes and overlooked. But if you think about it, communication is the gateway to everything we want from life. We cannot exist in a bubble. We cannot exist without actually speaking up and communicating. We have to do that on our own. We need other people. That's why we need for this feeling of belonging again that we have in the Maslow hierarchy of needs. And we love this pyramid. We have to mention it in every
Yep.
webinar. But it's so true. Very often, people don't realize that your communication skills are not just something that you're born with. It's not something that happens by chance. We learn those communication skills, we practice them, we acquire them over a period of time, and we have to practice those skills. And this particular skill, communication, there's so much room for improvement. And it doesn't matter if you have a personality type that is super shy, super introvert, or you are the opposite. You can always learn to communicate way better to other people. And I would like to recommend here people to go back to the webinar that we did exactly a few weeks ago, exactly on this subject of communication. It was called How to Effectively Communicate in Business and in Life.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good recommendation. That webinar and that topic is so fascinating. And as a result of watching that webinar, you will understand yourself way better, but you will also understand those around you. So make sure you go check that out, but not before you have finished watching this one.
No, please stay. And let me read the next principle. That's the number 6. I express any criticism in a positive, professional, argumentative, solution-oriented, non-judgmental way. And I'd like to point out here that expressing criticism and blaming are two very different things. Some people are allergic to discuss problems. So they say, oh, we got a challenge. We're not going to question that. But the idea is we need to confront. Avoiding confrontation can be the opposite of what you think it is. It could be super counterproductive when you behave that way at work. And assuming that others can read your mind, or they should guess what your viewpoint is, because you are constantly giving them little hints, that usually doesn't work. So we need to be able to express in a positive way constructive criticism to everybody, to employees, to fellow team members. And you don't just throw that communication or that criticism, even if it's constructive. You give it in the way, or in a way that it constitutes valuable feedback. It enables them to do something with it, with that communication. It enables them to grow to the next level.
Absolutely. And I think that trying to avoid these difficult conversations may feel like a way to protect someone else's feelings. But in reality, you're trying to protect yourself from the uncertainty of their reaction. And this will only lead to resentment, both from your side and also from theirs, as they can sense that something's off. So look at expressing criticism as a way to help others improve themselves. And don't leave them alone in the criticism that you just gave them. Help them come up with possible solutions and show that it is not that they are not good enough or that you don't value them as a person. It is just either lack of knowledge or lack of experience or lack of information that has caused this situation.
Yeah, and this leads us nicely to our next principle, number 7. I respect the etiquette of customer relationships. And that includes courtesy, cleanliness, correctness, proper clothing and hairstyle, maintaining my own and the company standards. And this is a funny one, because some people, depending on the generation, they may cringe a little bit when we talk about manners and the way you look and your hairstyle. Hey, who are you to tell me what to wear and what to do? What do you think about this one, Laura?
Of course, there's always this freedom of choice, but when I think about taking care of ourselves, it means you're doing it for yourself. You do it both physically and mentally, and it is so crucial. And that's why the second principle we discussed today was about prioritizing yourself. And it's not about vanity or needing to wear the latest fashion trends or trying to gain someone's approval. It's about having respect for yourself and for your body, and also respecting the standards that the company has set, because whether you like it or not, you are your company's representative, and everything you say, the way you act and the way you dress and take care of yourself, that is part of the first impression you make either for the customers or business partners. And that's why this principle is very crucial.
And I agree so much with that, because you only have one chance to give a very nice first impression.
Mhm.
But we all know that the first few seconds in an interaction are critical. So
Yep.
time for principle number 8, because we could be going deeper into each one of these a lot. By the way, your comments in the community, on the Facebook community right now, we want to hear that. But this next one, it says, I am committed to self-improvement and education, both general education, professional education, crisis management education, as well as sharing new information when and wherever possible, with the purpose of increasing my expertise in professional areas, as well as crisis counseling activities.
Mm. That is the absolute truth. There's not much to comment on that. And that's why, that's because I believe that each and every person who has joined us for this webinar is already committed to this self-improvement journey and to education. They're here to learn. So, dear listeners, thank you for that. Keep on going, keep on learning, keep on building your best self. You're on the right track.
Indeed. And I continue with the 9th principle.
Yep.
Mentions I take care of my own personal psychological hygiene by taking great care of my mindset, physiology, and psychology. Now, I love this concept of psychological hygiene because very often we don't think about this in this way and this perspective. That's something that needs constant care.
Yeah, because when you think about it, when we hurt ourselves physically, for example, we fall and break a leg or our tooth suddenly starts to ache, then we immediately take action. We take care of it. We either go to the doctor or we find a different solution, but we are doing something. And of course, we also have these preventative measures such as healthy eating and exercising regularly because we want to live a long and pain-free life. But for some reason, when we are unhappy in our life, when we are in this negative situation, we don't immediately think, how can I get better? How can I help myself? We suffer for a really long time. And it's truly, truly unfortunate because working on your mindset and working on your psychology on a constant basis is the best preventative measure you can take to ensure a happier life and also a longer life.
It's so true. Some people could become addicted to that unhappy lifestyle, and you
Mhm.
feel like you are just fine. I'm not in these positions that you have just described.
Mhm.
Then part of maintaining that psychological hygiene is to look inside as part of your routine and reflect. How is my mindset? How okay am I doing really? Are my routines or those habits that help me with my psychological hygiene, are they okay? Because you also go to the dentist for routine checkups. The same should happen with our mental health. So it's not this taboo where we feel very conscious and we don't want anybody to know that we are taking care of our mental health. It should be something normal, shouldn't it?
Absolutely, I agree.
And this brings us to the last principle, but not
Oh,
least important. It says, I am committed to training others to achieve more and better. My goal is to be a better leader and to create great leaders around me.
yeah, I think that is a very strong finishing point because leadership is our way to help everyone else achieve their goals, their dreams, their desires, their wishes, and so on. And of course, by helping others, we ultimately help ourselves.
That's a very powerful one. And some people actually don't think about leadership that much, but maybe
Mhm.
they don't think themselves they are great leaders. But practicing these habits to think of yourself, of your leadership, it gives you a huge leap forward in your career, in your self-development journey. In what ways? It's not just the effect it creates in your company or in your career. It's just it forces you to remain accountable to the best practices, to do things to a higher, excellent degree. And it also helps you to be that driving force that motivates others to be accountable. So it's a great thing to do because it's going to push you to work on communication skills, on all the other soft skills and professional skills, because as a leader, you have to set the example for other people.
That is so true. And when I am looking at the time, I see that we have not been able to keep our promise, but we can start wrapping up. So that brings us full circle to what we discussed in the beginning of the webinar, how a marketer needs to be balanced and well-rounded, capable of understanding the different layers in the social model of marketing. And I believe that all of these 10 principles that we have discussed will help you do just that.
Absolutely. So just, if you can, have them very visible in front of you, print them, have them maybe in your notice board or somewhere visible in your home or your office, and don't just look at them. Leave them. Really commit to them on a daily basis, because this is going to be the beginning of a huge transformation for you as a powerful marketer and also as a more powerful you.
Mm-hmm. That is so.
Yeah, I was just thinking, if I think about myself, when I hear myself saying, yeah, you are going to become a more powerful you and so on, I think about myself in that way. Because when I started in business, I realized that I didn't care that much about all the different levels of the social model that we just shared today. I was more concerned maybe about clients. So it was a very immediate circle, very close to the core. And I realized if I would have known how to care and know, be more knowledgeable about the further away um, levels of that social model, I would have been much more successful in inspiring and motivating my clients and my collaborators. It would have proven, or it would help me to prove myself as a more efficient leader in my industry, my market. And probably I would have been able to contribute much more to my clients. So this is a big learning that we include right in the core of PMP that we can get the value from.
Wow, what a great self-reflection. And I think it's so important to do those types of looking back moments and reflecting like, what did I do or why did it happen? Because there are such great learning moments. And I have also taken a lot of time to think about my own personal journey of growth and of success. And when I was reading these ethical principles today, then I really imagined a little Laura 5 years ago being scared and feeling like she didn't know anything, like she was too young, didn't have enough experience and so on. So I thought that the best course of action for me would be to prioritize everybody and everything else, to really prioritize my colleagues, my clients, and so on and on. And I kept suppressing myself for a really long time because I thought that, who am I to speak? I don't know that much as everybody else. I don't have that much experience and so on. But in reality, you can only do that for a very limited time, because sooner rather than later, you will start to feel the effects of that, the effects of not having enough MIP time, the most important person time, which I never used to have. And I can tell that by implementing this time into my calendar, I have improved so much. And I would say that the biggest improvement has been my mindset and my overall approach to life, to my career, to people around me. And I feel right now so much more in control of everything that I can do and everything that I want to do. And I feel like I don't have to wait for somebody who has more experience or more knowledge or who is older than me to come and give me permission to live my dream life. I can actually live it. And that's exactly what we have integrated into the Powerful Marketer program, because we want to empower every marketer out there to really create their own life as well. And inside PMP, we have 5 key areas that are necessary to becoming a powerful marketer. So they are mindset, subconscious support system, professionalism, communication literacy, and action and leadership. And in total, we have 893 minutes of audiovisual learning material. I love saying that. It sounds such a fancy number, yeah. But it's approximately 15 hours. And those videos, let me say, they are very insightful and very inspiring. But I truly believe that without action, those videos will just remain videos. You need to take action. You need to start living your new improved life. And that's why we have also included 55 action items so that you can implement your new learnings into your life straight away. And that way you can achieve more, reach higher, and truly become a powerful marketer. So if you're interested in that, if you want to start your growth journey, then please go check out marketersprogram.com.
And please do that. Go and check it out. And by the way, don't take our word for it. If you really want to see what it looks like, what this material is all about, you have the chance to go the free resources program. You can find that as well under marketersprogram.com. And then you have our free 7-video series entitled Secrets of Powerful Marketers. So how about that? You can just have a look at it and know exactly the value of this content. And on top of that, you can also test yourself. You have an extensive 18-page PDF guide on different levels of growth for marketers. You can test yourself against that guide that we have. And that will give you a very clear idea where you are right now in your growth journey. Where would you like to go? So check it out. Check those tools there and give yourself this opportunity to be inspired.
Please do that. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. Remember that you are the most important person in your own life and you deserve the absolute best. Your mind is a powerful tool and you need to utilize all of its power. There is no reason for you to wait for some miracle to start living your dream life. Your life is happening right now, and the choices you make today will be the stepping stones for tomorrow. So think carefully what it is that you really want from life, and how can you help yourself get going towards that vision right now, today. Don't procrastinate, don't postpone your growth story. Start acting now.
And in the words of this great modern philosopher, Nike, just do it. So, as you were saying, don't procrastinate. Yesterday is history, is gone. Tomorrow is a mystery, like the saying goes. And today is a gift. So enjoy this wonderful gift you have. Have a great day, have a great weekend, and make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos coming soon. I will see you next time.
Take care and bye.
Bye.